Hi guys, in this video I am going to be sharing with you what I regard to be the most fundamental things that you need to do to break past a weight loss plateau. So, the dreaded weight loss plateau, the point at which your weight loss efforts come to a grinding halt despite your continued efforts to eat healthily and to do regular exercise. The first thing to say with regards to this topic is try not to get too disheartened, as this happens to everybody at some point who is making valiant attempts to lose weight. Weight loss, unfortunately, is not one of those things that tends to have this continual steady decline. People experience weight loss plateaus. For some people, their weight can even go up very slightly for what appears to be no apparent reason at all. The reassuring thing to know here is that what you're experiencing is completely normal, and providing that you make the appropriate changes to your exercise and eating plan, in a lot of cases you can effectively break past a weight loss plateau. If you haven't done so already, I would strongly recommend that you also watch my video on how to weigh yourself sensibly and accurately, as this will help you to effectively determine whether or not what you are experiencing is in fact a genuine weight loss plateau. So, if you have now watched my video on how to weigh yourself sensibly and accurately, and you still think that what you're experiencing is a genuine weight loss plateau, it's very important that you make the relevant changes to your exercise and eating plan. Increasing or decreasing our calorie intake. The reason for perhaps needing to increase our calorie intake is to get our bodies out of the very well documented starvation mode. This is when, as a result of not eating enough food, our body's metabolism shuts right down, as it literally fights to keep every calorie and every ounce of fat. A function which was once incredibly useful in our distant past when we experienced famines and ice ages to help keep us alive, but perhaps not so useful in the modern age when we are trying to lose weight. Conversely, our metabolisms may well have also slowed down due to losing a sufficient amount of weight during the course of our journey, and as a result, the number of calories we are currently consuming is the same as what we are also expending. And in these instances, we may therefore require less calories for energy each day than what we perhaps used to need. And in these instances, our daily consumption would need to be reduced. We are all in our own way biologically unique individuals, and the only way to discover whether we need more or less calories is simply by trial and error. Either increase or decrease your calorie intake gradually, say by about 100 to 200 kilocalories. Weigh yourself again after 1 to 2 weeks, and then, based on the results, make a decision as to whether you want to further increase or decrease your calorie intake by a further 100 to 200, or stay as you are. In order to fully benefit from these changes in calorie consumption and continue to lose weight, it is vital that the calories which you do consume come from healthy, nutritious foods, which include things like complex carbohydrates, lean proteins, good fats, and a range of vitamins and minerals. As a general rule, if at any point when you are reducing your calories, you find that this is having an impact on your sense of well-being due to a lack of food, so for example, dizziness, headaches, or feeling lethargic for example, please increase your calorie intake so that you become an effectively functioning human being again. No amount of weight loss is worth enduring this amount of discomfort, and to be honest, you shouldn't ever have to. Are you eating more than you think you are? This is another really common cause of plateaus. You start your new eating regime with great determination, but then over time you may change a few things here and there to make it easier. You may then have dinner out one night with a friend, which turns out to be your favourite restaurant. You do your best to stick to your plan, but know that it wasn't perfect. Or perhaps work was really busy and you had a breakfast meeting, lunch on the go, or a working dinner, so again couldn't stick exactly to your plan. Basically every change adds calories, often hundreds of them, and what seems like small things often adds up surprisingly fast. The end result is that although you were eating sensibly for most of the last week, those few occasions when control slipped may well have taken away all forward progress. So what is the solution? Get demanding and make it work. For a lot of us, as a result of personal circumstances, it can no doubt sometimes be more of a challenge to eat healthily, which makes weight control harder, but almost everyone can take more control than they do. The fact that the environment you're in may work against you isn't a cause to give in. It is all the more reason for you to take control and not feel apologetic. There are so many ways that you can prevent exceptions becoming routine, and it all starts with thinking ahead, making informed decisions, and taking responsibility for them. Continually increase the intensity of your workouts. Intensity is defined by the amount of effort that is invested in the exercise that we do, and is a great way to shift those extra pounds. So for example, if you are doing cardiovascular training, why not increase the speed at which you work or the level of resistance which you have on the running machine, cross trainer, stepper, rower, or any other piece of equipment you choose to use? If you do some kind of circuit training, you could increase the pace at which you work during the circuit. When doing resistance training, it is important that we continue to increase the weight that our muscles lift in order to continue putting our bodies under the appropriate strain to achieve sufficient adaptations. If you mainly like to exercise by keeping active with daily activities, you could consider increasing the speed at which you do the gardening, cleaning, and any other household chores that require physical exertion. It's important to note that working out for longer periods of time does not come under increasing the intensity and does not necessarily mean better. When doing cardiovascular exercise, anything beyond the 45 to 60 minute mark sees diminished returns. For all that extra effort after this point, the associated benefits are minimal. This is also the case with resistance training, with the common consensus being that training sessions should be no longer than 45 to 60 minutes each. Please also be aware that the number of times you work out each week also doesn't fall under increasing intensity, and it also doesn't necessarily mean better. Although it is good to exercise regularly each week, if you put your body under a good amount of stress in a workout, the body needs appropriate time to recover. As a general rule, the harder the workout, the more recovery time you will need. Continually vary the type of exercise that you do. Performing a wide variety of exercises means your body has to continually work harder as it adjusts to the new pressures you are putting it under, which means you are more likely to achieve sufficient adaptations and continue to keep losing weight. With cardiovascular workouts, for example, perhaps use a rowing machine as opposed to a runner, if this is what you mainly use. Maybe include some kind of high intensity interval training. Work out outdoors as opposed to the gym periodically, or opt for a swimming session instead of doing your usual bout of cross training. If you mainly like to exercise through the day-to-day activities that you do, you could consider travelling by foot or bike in scenarios where you would usually take the car, for example. And finally, with resistance training, it is very important that we continue to vary the exercises that we do and the equipment that we use for each muscle group as much as possible in order to continue putting your body under the appropriate strain to achieve sufficient adaptations. So, those were my weight loss tips on how to effectively break past a weight loss plateau. If you haven't done so already, please watch my video on how to weigh yourself sensibly and accurately. And above all else, please stick with it. I assure you that if you follow the tips that you've just watched and you continue to show that hard work and dedication, you will eventually break past the plateau and just keep up the good work. And until next time, take care and goodbye.